Well, good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Formula One division of the XRL Racing League. We are here at Shanghai, China. I'm Pete Markroft in the box alongside Dan Fisk. Now, this track here at Shanghai has been a bit of a hit and miss circuit in between high and low downforce, depending on your section. Of course, we've got two DRS zones this year, from turn 16 down towards turn 1, and we've also got from turn 13 down to turn 4. It's an opportunity to get some low drag, high speed overtaking, and also some very tight hairpins here as well. In the qualifying now, we have a 100% chance of rain, so we're going to get a lot of people out there early, hopefully to beat the wet on the track. How you doing, Dan?
I'm fine, thanks. There's no surprise, is it, that it's raining as usual? Doesn't surprise me at all. It keeps happening to him.
Well, interestingly, the race itself is actually going to be 0% chance of rain.
Oh, well, that's good.
So it should mean that they get the rain out of the way now, and then try and cope with it as best they can. But at the moment,
it's actually
the track
dry,
is actually dry.
Yeah. Well, that is good news. So they can get out and put a couple of laps in for possibly rains.
Well, we've got pretty much the entire field on the moment. They're all on out laps and trying to see who's right at the front of the chain here. And I think that's XRL Lightning and the Mercedes who's at the front of the chain. Don't go through down towards turn 10. Yeah, on towards turn 11 now at the end of sector 2. Very annoying sectors these, really. The start of sector 3 and the start of sector 1 both feature corners that I call the snail because they're so bloody long and slow. Yeah. Really bad design in my opinion.
Apparently we're quiet, so up the volume a bit, but...
Can you hear me now? I won't do that. Okay, well, in the meantime, XRL Lightning now is the guy at the head of the chain, and he's just going around turn 16 to start his lap. Oh, he's cut that inside and knocked the ball out off there, but got away with it. Into the DRS zone down towards turn 1, the very long, very slow hairpin. Got a little wide, but managed to keep it together. A bit of traffic ahead of him as well. As one of the Force Indias is right in front of him, but gets totally out of his way during turn 2. So good driving there from that Force India driver.
I'm trying to get to the driver, but they're all not on laps. So it's quite difficult to find him.
About 2 ahead of Lewis Hamilton, I think.
Who are you on board with?
XRL Lightning, I'm pulling at the moment.
Can't find him. Here we are. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Excellent. Well, in the meantime now, coming through this high-speed sweeper sections in the middle here, and if you get that right, you can take it flat, but it's very, very difficult to do. And then into this annoying double apex corners. One of the features of Shanghai, really. Quite a lot of double apex corners and long, slow turns. Not quite sure why it was designed that way.
This is the corner I hate. This one coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, so difficult. Yeah, this bit here, though, this is the bit. Just keeps on going.
Yeah. The same as turn 1, they both just don't seem so. It's like Tilke decided, let's try and make a huge bank corner, and we've lost F1 knowledge. Well, that's not a good start here. We'll keep on board with XRL Lightning before we get him back in the race. Just coming down towards the end of the final sector now towards the hairpin. Didn't quite top out there, so he's gone for a very strange gearbox by the sounds of it. And also got poor traction off the corner as well, so I'd be worried about that for the race. And to go straight into the pits.
You might have to invite F1 Nige if you see him.
I'll do that now, no worries.
Right, so Lightning's pitted. He hasn't actually done a lap. On board with too much elite here, about to finish his lap in the Sauber. Gets a bit aggressive on the last corner, runs a little bit wide. DRS lap open and done a 134.9 on the option tyres, putting him in a provisional P1.
Indeed, Conor Eyes has got P2 on a 135.7.
8/10. Maybe it's just the clouds,
yeah.
I don't know, that's slowing laps. I'd expect them to be a bit faster.
Interesting, Thomas is 4th on a 35.7, so the times are quite consistent. Now, Robbo is currently going through that long turn that starts sector 3 down towards the outside. He's backed off. Who's on a lap? Who's actually going for it? Danny Pearce is going for it in a moment. Just coming up to the end of sector 2. Into that annoying tight hairpin before the very long corner where there's loads of advertising for Chinese businesses because they actually can't get anyone to watch the race from there.
Did not know
down
that.
onto the back straight. Yeah, they always advertise it. It used to say made with China or something.
Oh, that's right,
It actually say Chinese.
That's right.
Circles Danny Pierce now down towards the hairpin, braking just before the 100-metre board. Very confident. Oh, got all four wheels off there. Not only is that loop ruin traction, but it can also count as a corner cut. And indeed, he's dived back into the pits. Because I think he's cut the corner, that's the reason.
I think it's going to be like the GP2 Malaysia race. That was like, what is too much doing? I think it's going to be like the GP2 Malaysia race where it's 100% rain in qualifying, but it's going to like rain in the last minute.
That's why everyone needs to be really trying to get the laps in now, really. That'd be my advice. Try and get out there as soon as possible. Everyone's on in-laps by the looks of it at the moment, trying to get some fresh pair of boots on. But XRL Lightning has gone back out. He's coming to the end of Sector 1, so there's a bit of time left for his yet. LGS is backed off very slowly. He's on his way back to the pits. Yeah, everyone's just an annoying crossover at the moment. So stick on board with XRL Lightning for now, because he's the furthest along who's yet to start a lap.
Right, what's Jambo doing? Is this going to be winding himself up for a lap? No, he's pitting. It is that sort of quiet interlude, isn't it, where everyone just sort of pits.
with the state of the cloud, though, I'd have been tempted to put 5 laps of fuel in and try and do 2 laps on the primes, just to get a banker lap in.
Well, Lightning's gone on to the prime tyre.
Indeed, and he's coming up towards the end of Sector 3 now, to getting started towards his lap, so we're trying to get the temperatures into the tyres. This final hairpin corner is very annoying. I think it's called the horseshoe, because of the way it seems to open out really rather oddly. And he's cut that inside corner on the final lap corner. Oh, a bit of traffic coming out of the pits ahead of him, and right in the middle of the snail. Not a good place to meet traffic at all. That's one of the Saubers by the looks of it.
He might just be okay.
He may just get out of the way. Indeed, he has good driving there. On the option tyres, that Sauber driver getting totally out of the way. XRL Lightning lighting up the back tyres now, coming down towards turn 4. I do find it weird, this track's got loads of little kinks that count as corners when they're really not corners.
Rain is starting to fall.
Yeah, so those guys who've just gone out now might just get the best of it and just be able to get the conditions in. This is why I said before, 5 laps of fuel, do 2 laps, get a banker in. Into this double apex hand, gone a bit wide there to get out of the throttle, and it's gone over the curb too, ruined his traction. But it's the end of Sector 2, 55, that's pretty fast though, it's not a slow lap. Trevor in the throttle trying to find grip. But onto the final straight now.
You've got to get the lap done now, or it's going to be too late.
Exactly, because the track's just going to get wetter and wetter and wetter. Topping out around 200, that's not a high top speed, that from XRL Lightning. That could hamper him in the race if he's not careful. Lighting up the back tyres, hitting a bit of curves off the horseshoe. Now he's got to be careful how he takes his final cut, and he's pitted! He must have cut a corner or something.
That's his qualifying over then.
Pretty much. XRL Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, just gone through the horseshoe, so he's on his way round. Is he going to go into pit? He's pitted too. Is the track too wet for them? XRL Thomas Elite is out on the option tyres going through the first corner.
Right, I'm going to quickly look at the times. Only 5 drivers have set a time. XRL Too Much Elite in pole position with a 34.9. A 10th ahead of LGS, also on the option tyres. Jambo, 5 tenths off the pace, with Connor and Tuppers rounding up off the 5 who have qualified. Robbo, Perez, Nige, Lightning, Danny Pierce, Andy, Lewis Hamilton, all electing not to qualify. Well, not qualify, but not get a lap in.
I've just seen a message from one of the drivers telling me that LGS apparently is lagging.
Not great.
I don't know what else I can really say about that. Meanwhile, a penalty for Rusty Nuts here for the next race, saying, correction, it's going to get wet, wet, wet. That's a penalty for you. That's a terrible joke. So Too Much Too Late. He's coming round through that very annoying section 3 corner on towards the back DRS straight, leading towards turn 15. There goes the flap, and a little bit of a connection wiggle actually when he was going there. Into the braking zone, 400-metre board towards the hairpin. Seems to be struggling a little bit with grip, but not too much. Into the final corner. Oh, all four wheels may have gone over the inside there by too much too elite. He's improved his time though, so 1:34.8. Right on both LGS though, he's been very, very slow here. Off that final corner at the end of sector 3.
Yeah, it was just got a bit of weird lag going on, so like ghosting and not ghosting. You know what I mean? Going like see-through.
Yeah,
gonna have to keep an eye on
also
it.
have that. But meanwhile, XRL LGS always gone very wide at the final corner onto the artificial grass. Much better time, 1:34.7, provisional pole.
Well, maybe if he has that much lag, he can hear anyone.
Possible. Meanwhile, Tubbers, he's on a lap at the moment. He's just gone at the end of sector 2. But he seems to be struggling with his grip. He's actually completely got off the throttle. Is he out of fuel? I'm not getting any engine noise from him. But yeah, his speedometer is still going up to the 180s, so he must still have power in the car, but he's got absolutely no engine sound riding on board of him. That's very, very strange.
I've got engine sound, it's a bit odd.
Shows that the connection maybe is going a little haywire here, but this is a slow lap from Tuppers.
I don't think the times are really going to improve, are they?
I don't know, but Jambo, strangely, is on his outlap at the moment, and he's on the prime tyre. On the prime tyre in conditions like this, not sure I'd do that personally. I'm just watching Jambo, and he's getting that weird ghosting effect as well.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, viewers, while we just wait for a lap to start, what's everyone's reactions on Kimi Räikkönen suddenly retiring from the season? Get your answers on the stream, we'll try and read some out.
I'll put my 2 pence worth about it. Well, his back may be a bit of a problem, but I think more of the issue is the fact that he's not getting paid, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's his back. I think it's his back pocket, personally.
Yeah, but can you blame him?
No, can't say I can.
Because
But in the meantime, Jambo now, it's just coming to on sector 1, just getting on the brakes a little later. Oh, Lewis Hamilton started an end session though. Don't do that. Yeah, going back to the Raikkonen situation, it's obvious that he's demotivated at Lotus, and he knows that he's going to Ferrari. The BBC reported he's already had his seat fitting done, so he's got nothing more to do. He knows he's not going to win any of the races. So he might as well just go and sit home in Finland, get himself 100% fit. Be interesting to see who takes his place for 2 races, though. Because Mika Salo came up with a bonkers rumour the other week, saying that Raikkonen was going to drive for Sauber and Hulkenberg was going to drive for Lotus for the 2 races.
What? No.
That's what Mika Salo came up with. Don't know where he got it from. It's just what I saw it on a Finnish F1 website.
Alright, that's quite interesting.
A bit bonkers to me, to be honest. On the forum I use, everyone wants Pedro Dolorosa to sub again. Just because he can.
I think Balasecki is going to be the obvious choice for that 2 races.
More than likely Balasecki, but then again, you never know. They might pull Hulkenberg through as an early release. Jambo does not improve on his time, he stays P4. Conor Rice is on a lap now, he's coming towards the end of sector 2. It's strange, the rain not seems to be stopping him from going out on dry tyres.
No, it's not that heavy, is it?
Just wet enough. I think Conor Rice has given up here, he's triggering the throttle very, very strangely through that final corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no DRS, it's definitely give up. Well, Perez, he started another lap in the McLaren. And again, I've got a strange effect where I've not got any engine noise, so I'm getting like Formula E a year before it started. So Perez going through turn 6 in the hairpin in sector 1. Keeping it nice and wide and trying to get as much traction as possible, staying as far away from the main racing line, see if we can get some extra grip on the karting line. It doesn't seem to be decreasing his time too much, but he doesn't seem to be picking up too much speed either.
No, the lap's done, isn't it? I can't see Perez improving. Too deep there.
Yeah, you got a bit too deep in that hairpin, and of course that throws you out for this very long, wide corner, which is all about high speed, getting the traction down, especially if you've got a bit of curves left.
Which he has
done.
done.
Down towards the DRS zone. But it's got like a little smidgen.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 of the 400. Brake very late there. Is he going to get the car stopped in time? Just about. So not bad. He's been quite attacking here. There's a possibility he might improve by a small margin. Into the final corner. Just a little wide, but not too far. There goes the flap.
Well, no.
No improvement. So, yes, a very strange qualifying there, viewers. We only had 6 people setting lap times. LGS in pole position, followed very close by Too Much Too Elite. Then 2 tenths back from them, we got Old Tuppers in 3rd. Jambo is on a 35.5 in 4th. Conor Rice, the 35.7 in 5th. And then Perez on a 36.3 in 6th place. And then behind them, of course, we've got Robbo in 7th, F1 Nice starting down in 8th.
Yeah, he disconnected, didn't he? So he'll start right at the back, behind us.
But then again, we've also got the likes of Mr. Ice Cold Andy, starting from P10.
Very interesting kind of grid, isn't it? You know, you don't know, all the quicker guys are near the back, all the slower, they're not slow, are they? But you know what I mean, they're sort of,
the drivers over in the midfield are leading at the front. It's like many ways in Suzuka 2005 when you had Ralph Schumacher, Giancarlo Fisichella and Jenson Button at the front, where you had Fernando Alonso in 13th and Kimi Raikkonen down in 18th. And that was still one of the best races I've ever seen, with where Raikkonen swept through to victory.
Well, if that happens like it did there, then we should be in for a fantastic race, just like last week.
Last week was a chaotic race where it was overtake after overtake after overtake.
It was fantastic.
Wheel banging all the way. Well,
but having said that,
let's get your prediction then.
Well, I have to have a quick look at the grid, but you know, it's always them same guys are going to be there, aren't they? Nige, Andy always seems to have that extra little bit. But actually, someone who is interesting me is the guy who's on pole, LGS. He's a quick driver. There's a lot of drivers in between him and Ice Cold Andy, and if his lag sorts itself out, someone's readied up already. It's just stupid. Then he's got a chance.
Indeed they do. So the question is now, is Mr. Ice Cold Andy going to carve through from the back of the pack? Is F1 Nice going to be able to do the same thing? He's starting there. Can LGS hang on to his lead? Or will also the race pace of Jambo, which is very strong in Malaysia, allow him to get a slingshot to start and lead from the front? Stay tuned.
Right, so we're now getting off to the grid. Rusty says, Nige for the win. Where's Rick 51? Says Ice Cold Andy. They seem to be torn. Nige for the win, says Turtle Bobbert. There's only 2 people in their minds for the win. But LGS is on the pole.
I'm going to be different then. I'm going to back LGS. I like this guy's wheel banging style. But then again, we've seen what Ice Cold Andy and that can do on long pace, so anything is possible. So all we're going to do now is wait for the 5 lights to ignite, and then once there, we will be racing here at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. 5 lights go up. When they go out, we are racing, and we are off now. So a light is start for Too Much Too Elite, takes the lead. LGS gets a terrible start. Someone's against Swans on the outside from the Ferrari. But Bobo, in the meantime, 5th place, the Force India is already getting on the inside, but LGS has made a terrible start, managed to keep 2nd place. Elite has bucketed away, got about a 2nd gap already. And if he can keep that kind of pace, he'll be a great favourite for taking the race from here. 3rd place, we've got Conor Rice, it's up into P3. 4th place, we've got Old Tuppers in the Caterham. And then down in 5th place, we've got a bit of a duel between 5th and 6th. There's contact with the Force India on the back of Tuppers. The Force India goes wide. F1 Nice has already lost connection. Now, Robbo might as well down to P4 due to that contact, and in P5, making a good recovery drive, is Tuppers and there's Mercedes in 6th place, going to XRL Lightning.
That's Lightning who caused that incident at turn 3 or 4, sorry, at the hairpin. It was Lightning's fault.
We've got a bit of dueling action here between Conrad and Robbo. Robbo's to the inside of the hairpin, and Tuppers very nearly followed him into the very slow turn. But in the meantime, gone very wide. XRL Lightning's planting that Mercedes right on the inside, down towards the DRSO, but Kurz is being deployed to fight back from Tuppers, down towards the back straight, but the greater legs on that Mercedes are put ahead. Meanwhile, there is a duel for the lead between XRL LGS and XRL Too Much Elite. Conroy's looking at the inside of the hairpin, same time as LGS. LGS touches wheels, but gets on through to retake the lead.
Fantastic move by Tuppers on Lightning to get him back on the long straight on the hairpin there.
Well, it's all very close to the front. The first 3 cars are all bolted together.
We've got somebody in the pits.
That might be Lightning, possibly.
No, I'm on board with him. It's not him.
Oh, mistake from XRL. Thomas Elite has pushed him off at the snail, and he's been swamped by both Robbo and Conorize. And also XRL Lightning, he's filtered back into 4th place, but he's fought back on the second turn of the snail to get back into P4. XRL Lightning going aggressive on the outside, then defensive driving there. XRL Thomas Elite gets poor traction though, and Lightning is just able to drive around the outside towards fast sweepers, but he's not got the pace to make it in before the turn.
Can you invite Nige to the party?
Sure.
So who was that guy who is right at the back, having suffered most likely a penalty for something which I'm not quite sure about? See if we can get on board. It's Ice Cold Andy in 10th and Perez in 11th, so not good for McLaren at all. Ice Cold Andy's in 10th, he is some way back.
Well, straight to Malaysia, we actually have a 4-car duel, because we've got Jambo in 7th place in the Force India, behind old Tuppers in the caterum, who's behind XRL Lightning, and then ahead of them we've got XRL Tuppers to Elite, down towards the hairpin. Tuppers is thinking about an inside overtake, but he's pulled out the last moment. Meanwhile, Lightning has found extra traction and just gone completely around the outside of Too Much to Elite to take P4. And Tuppers was thinking about the outside of the final corner, got poor traction, so Jambo now is deploying the curves, and he's on the outside down towards turn 1. He's got the legs to sweep on through, and he's actually thinking about the upside of Too Much to Elite. Oh, it's going to be very tight here, but he just pulls out at the last moment, gets his wheels on the grass, and as a result, both Tuppers and the second Sauber of Danny Pierce pull through. Jambo's on the inside of turn 2 and just holds the high ground.
Right. Nige. No, you're right. No, obviously not.
No, I'm not actually.
Go on then. What? Obviously connection's not fantastic.
So it's going to question Tuppers. Got a very great drive off the hairpin at the end of sector 1, but I think Danny Pierce has just got the legs to out-drag him down to the sweepers.
Okay.
Go.
I got hit off after turn 2. It was either by Andy or Tuppers. I just got wiped into the fucking barrier, basically.
Is that why you left?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's only 1 lap in.
Well, I was facing the wrong way. The back of the grid with half a wing. We expected
well, it might have been Perez, because he's the one who's been given a penalty.
No, it wasn't Perez. It wasn't Perez because it was only me, Tuppers, and Andy. It was the car that I think hit me was Andy. But obviously I can't confirm that.
Okay, well I'll write it down. It's a long race, right?
With the DRS open, XRL Too Much Elite has got the DRS on XRL Lightning, but he's got the same advantage on Conorize, so it's been negated. And Conorize made a mistake at the final hairpin. XRL Lightning's got the inside line, but Conorize got better drive on the outside and has been able to retain position down towards the final corner. Both guys clatter the board on the inside. And XRL Lightning's in a great position now to deploy DRS down towards turn 1, goes up the inside, and that looks like it's meat and drink for him to take that position. But Connors is fighting back on the outside of the snail down towards turn 2. He's got the idea of trying to get the inside traction, but he's made a mistake that's opened the door for Too Much to Elite. He's had to go defensive, and Tuppers is now joining this battle as well. It's 4-way between P4 and P7.
So, why do you keep on going, Nige?
XRL Thomas Tooley looking the inside of the hairpin in the end of sector 1. He's got in front of the inside, but Conrad has got the better drive on the outside, and Tuppers is looking to split the pair of them down towards the chicane. Full driving for XRL Thomas Tooley, and there's been collision with Tuppers. Tuppers has gone off onto the side. XRL Thomas Tooley is trying to hold up. As a result, both Jambo and Danny Pearce sweep on through past Tuppers. He's falling down the field at a colossal rate, while also at the same time Jambo's been forced up by Danny Pearce. It's getting very, very close and very tight between these drivers now.
Well, if he hasn't got a pen for that, then I think he should get one. If I'm honest with you.
Well, meanwhile, Thomas is finding himself under immense pressure now from the Force India, being piloted here by Jambo, who's got right underneath him with those behind tyres, underneath the wing at the time of DRS, but Thomas has made a defensive move straight away and deployed DRS to negate the advantage. Well, up ahead, too much too elite. We're thinking of going the outside of XRL Lightning, but Lightning's just held the high ground. At the same time, Thomas has come across, touched the inside wing of Jambo, but got away without damaging the car.
Who we got in the pits then? Oh, we had that for a split second. Who's that car in the pits then?
Lewis Hamilton has just gone on the outside and taken the position.
So got too much elite.
Just Lightning saying that Elite's lagging quite badly.
They're saying Elite's lagging quite badly.
Yeah.
Okay. That may answer for why he just took Tuppers off in Sector 2 then.
Well, meanwhile, there's a bit of a duel going on at the back of the points here between Mr. Ice Cold Andy, who's still in 9th place, behind Lewis Hamilton, down towards the first sector hairpin. These two are really, really close, being very, very dicey. And as a result, there's maybe half a second between these guys. Ice Cold Andy must be wondering what's going on. He's not used to being at the back of the field. He's not used to having to fight really half a pace. So are we going to see the weaknesses that have plagued Sebastian Vettel's campaign in 2011 started to come under Ice Cold Andy's wing here? Towards the end of Sector 2, Andy thinking about a move at the inside of the hairpin, which decides to hold on for DRS. Very wise there, as Lewis Hamilton gets a bit tail hopping with the option tyres, and Ice Cold Andy goes, thank you very much, goes right up the inside without a fight. What a move. Moving further forward, we do have a bit of a duel going on between 5th and 4th place, as we've got Danny Pearce thinking about the outside of XRL Lightning, and they're both side by side through the hairpin, and he's gone past Conrad in the Ferrari to take position. Conrad's trying to fight back with DRS down towards turn 1, but unfortunately he's not been able to get close enough to close the gap.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Nige, really. It's not connected,
Yeah,
I know it's like he's facing the wrong way, but Perez got a penalty, so he wouldn't have been last.
Well,
and he's got good pace.
I don't know how this has happened, but Robbo has taken the lead from XRL LGS.
Ooh.
So Robbo is now in front by about half a second. And indeed, LGS seems to be having major problems with his gears. He keeps on like changing power, and his car keeps positioned very, very funnily when I'm following it. It's almost like he's crabbing side to side.
And he's just had like probably the easiest overtake you'll see on his teammate. So he's just been let through, in my opinion, there.
Bit of a team order there, but in the meantime, Lewis Hamilton's back ahead of him.
Connor in P5, he's doing a good job. Danny Pearce in P4 on the prime tyres, so he's looking not too bad. Lightning also on the prime tyres, looking pretty good. And then we've got LGS and Robbo, both on the option tyres, and they're making good work.
Well, Jambo's got DRS on his teammate, and he's looking to go by him into the pile. Oh, but he's backed off. Oh, team orders are being played here, most definitely. But at the same time, Ice Cold Andy's gone very, very wide, and Jambo now is just slowing and refusing to take the position back. We definitely know who the number 2 driver in that team is.
Who, Andy? Andy's number 2?
Jambo. Jambo's got DRS on turn 1. This time he's actually making the move. He's sick of sitting behind him and taking the place back.
Well, let's just wait. Hold on.
But no, Andy's now back through on the inside of the snail, and he's got the outside of turn 2 with not enough to hold the high ground, and as a result, Jambo is back in front. But Ice Cold Andy, he's not going to be too happy about that. He'll be wanting to take that place right back.
The thing is, it's like, Andy must be about 5 to 7 seconds behind the like top prime runner, so it's not great stuff. He's not out of the race, no, but he can't afford to be held up.
Well, he can't now because he's also got the very fast charging Caterham of Tuppers behind him. So all of a sudden he's going to be under pressure now because Tuppers is right behind him in 8th place. And Jambo, who has proven that he can race very well, last week he did some great overtaking and was very, very fast. So the last thing that Andy needs is to be held up by his teammate. And maybe we'll get a chance for an overtake here, because Ice Cold Andy will definitely have the DRS down towards the straight. There goes the flat right now. He's not deployed the curve, so he's obviously trying to save a little bit for the second part of the track here. Into the final hairpin. He's braking very early for that hairpin. Jambo lets the tail sort of slip out a little bit there, but managed to get away with it into the final corner. And now Ice Cold Andy's definitely going to get the move here, because big mistake there from Jambo, forced him totally off the track. There goes the flap, and he goes right through on the inside. But Jambo's keeping with him at the same time. Ice Cold Andy's gone very, very deep into turn 1 of the snail, and that's brought Jambo right back onto the tail of him as a result. So these guys could be literally treating this like a touring car race, every lap overtaking each other.
Hopefully Andy can build a gap now on him though. Jambo, I'm pretty sure.
Jambo's right behind him.
Jambo, I'm pretty sure, isn't going to let him just go by.
No, because Jambo was passed around through the snail, but Jambo's right behind Ice Cold Andy. And at the same time, Lewis Hamilton ahead of them is being reeled in as well. So all of a sudden, this is becoming another 3, maybe even 4-car duel. Has Andy got the gap for DRS? This is the big question as Jambo makes a mistake in the hairpin at the end of sector 2. That may have just broken the gap there. And indeed, Ice Cold Andy's got great drive off that very slow turn, and he's going to have the DRS on Lewis Hamilton, so there goes the flap. He's eyeing up that 4th place and a chance to start recovering the race. He's a bit far back. Can he do it on the braking? It's going to be an audacious move, but unbelievable. He's got on the brakes, lost the late chargers, and that was an excellent pass there by Ice Cold Andy.
Very good. It was all helped by Lewis Hamilton sort of braking quite late himself.
He also went very well in the final corner, Lewis Hamilton, triggered the auto brake, which cancelled the DRS, and as a result, Andy is now going to break away. But up ahead, we've got a surprising gap that's been forged by 1st place now, because
Robbo's doing a really good job, isn't he?
Yeah, we've got Danny Pearce in P3, who's fastly chasing down XRL Lightning, who's done well to recover.
Lightning's
after
overtaken
a bit of first lap wheel barging.
Hasn't he? I'm not sure.
Danny Pearce was behind Lightning,
no,
yeah, but Danny Pearce is now chasing back.
He's closing up quite nicely, actually. Robbo's got the lead quite nicely. He's about 7-8 seconds ahead on the option tyres. LGS has already pitted, but where is he in the fight for all of this? Is he ahead of XRL too much elite?
I'm not so sure, because Jambo's down to 6th place, and yeah, P7 XRL, yes. And he's got a gap of about 4 seconds on his teammates. So he's got quite a big gap for too much to elite. But meanwhile, in the P6 now, Jambo is looking at the back of the Caterham being piloted by Lewis Hamilton, who's quite close to Ice Cold Andy, but clatters the inside curb at the long turn. That's completely ruined his traction, and as a result, he's nowhere near him. So even if it's got DRS, that gap's not going to be closed.
I think so. Just having a look.
So Danny Pearce is now close, right to the back of XRL Lightning, and these two are the closest cars on track at the moment. Oh, XRL Lightning and Danny Pearce both go totally off the track.
Wide, yeah.
It triggers the auto brake, but also cancels any DRS as well.
I think we're going to have to review the turn 1, see what we could see. Definitely very difficult looking from back from about 3rd, I think we were looking at the time.
Well, so I'll have to look at that once the feed has ended. But in the meantime, the gaps have started to open out a little bit. So while we've got a little bit of a gap for now, quickly go through the fastest laps as they stand. We've got Robbo in the lead on a 140.5. In second place, XRL Lightning on a 141.3. So not lightning pace, but has done enough to maintain position. Third place, Danny Pearce is a 140.7.
On the primes.
And in fourth place, Ice Cold Andy a 140.2 on the primes. That's very fast. And then Lewis Hamilton 141.5 in fifth place. Jambo in sixth on a 141.6. LGS 140.5 in seventh. Perez 140.5 as well in ninth. And then XRL Thomas Lee in ninth 140.5. Three guys all in the same thing by literally 3/100ths of a second. Very, very close. And then Conor Eyes rounds on the top 10 on a 140.7.
I think it just doesn't outline how close it is, though.
It's incredible. It's like so close together. But at the same time now, Danny Pearce has got the DRS on XRL Lightning. He's a little too far back for the hairpin, but if he can get the traction down, he might be able to get towards the second DRS zone.
He just got on that curb on exit that does unsettle the car, and
it was clattered the inside bollard as well, so that won't have done his traction any good. Meanwhile, in the pits is Robbo. Robbo's gone into the pits, so Lightning now leads the race from Danny Pearce.
Now, where does Robbo come out in terms of LGS? That's an interesting
That is the big question. Ice Cold Andy goes into third place, followed by Lewis Hamilton, who's also on the prime side.
LGS
Robbo
is ahead.
comes out in sixth place.
LGS is ahead.
By about 1 second, maybe 1.5 seconds there, so LGS will be happy. Meanwhile, behind them, in seventh place, we've got a bit of a duel between Perez and XRL Too Much to Elite. And indeed, the Snail, Too Elite's trying to go around the outside to take the position from Perez, but he's just not been able to get the traction. Coming up towards the end of sector 1, though, Too Much to Elite thinking about a pass around the hairpin, but backs out a bit wisely, knowing that he's just not quite close enough.
Right, we've got the battle for the lead we should come back to, because they're now coming up to the DRS zone, but I'm still aboard this Too Much Elite battle. Perez needs to really be getting away, but he's can't.
At the same time, Lewis Hamilton's not letting Ice Cold Andy get away from him either, so
he's doing a good job since he got past, isn't he?
Well, meanwhile, Danny Pearce now deploys the DRS. No, he didn't get DRS, but at the same time, massive overspeed. Pulled onto the outside. This should be done if he can get the car stopped and braked in time. Oh, he's going to be tight through this hairpin. And he's gone through the outside line and takes the lead. But now the question is, Lightning's very close to him. Can he get the traction down? He's saved a little bit of his curves too. So there goes the flat down towards turn 1. He's got the overspeed, but great gearbox from Danny Pearce's Sauber. He's able to defend without the DRS, and he's got a little wide though towards turn 1. Lightning sees the gap on the inside. Oh, a little touch of contact there from Lightning. Lightning backs out of the move going towards turn 2. Maybe trying for a switchback, but it's not enough as Ice Cold Andy gets... Danny Pearce, gets a little slip on the tyres, but gets away with it.
Right, let's get to the front then. I'm there now. So yes, Lightning losing that place to Danny Pearce, who, to be fair, has been the quicker driver.
He's been fast, but Lightning's not letting him get away at the moment. But as we've seen the pace difference between these guys, Danny Pearce now needs to get the hammer down, try and break that DRS gap.
He's got a very good gearbox by the sounds of it, so he may be able to defend.
Well, let's have a look, because like I said, there's maybe half a second between them. It's come to the end of sector 2 into turn 11. Both cars riding the curve well. Oh, Danny Pearce gets a little too much to the inside curve, gets a lot of wheel slip. XRL Lightning wasn't very clean either, so neither guy's got the perfect launch at that corner. Danny Pearce has already gone defensive. He's gone to the outside of the track. Now that means he will have one move to the left to get back to the racing line. That's actually quite intelligent driving. He broke the toe completely and Lightning couldn't get anywhere near it.
But he's run wide.
Oh, Danny Pearce makes a mistake. Oh, he's come back on in front of him. And Lightning spun the car around. As a result now, an Ice Cold Andy, the horse in there, is looking down towards the final turn. Unbelievable. Oh, he's been rammed in the back by Danny Pearce. But he's managed to avoid going off, but, well, for me that was Danny Pearce's fault. He went off the track and rejoined too quickly. Meanwhile, Ice Cold Andy's got much better traction off turn 1. He's gone up the inside of the snail. It's going to go in the outside line for turn 2. Is he going to sweep through to take the lead? Lightning's got the car side by side. Lightning's giving him all, squeezing him as much as he can, and gets away with it to hold on to first place. Ice Cold Andy will not be happy with that move. He'll be definitely fighting back. Ice Cold Andy gets a little bit of slip out the hairpin now. And that's now brought him back into the clutches of Lewis Hamilton. We've got a 3-car duel for the lead. Maybe not a 4-car duel, because behind them as well.
LGS, isn't that LGS?
I think that's going to actually be Lewis Hamilton. No, with the LGS even. Yeah, it is LGS.
So then, effectively a pit stop to these guys then?
Yes, so that's very, very confident driving from LGS. Robbio's not too far behind either, so into the DRS zone, riding on board with Lewis Hamilton. Although actually I'm going to ride on board with XRL because he's got a brilliant traction at the final corner. There goes the flap. But they've all got it, so meanwhile LGS gone round the inside. Down towards the hairpin, and LGS on the brakes, not close enough, but light contact with the back of Hamilton. He's pulled off, he's held the line, he's trying to let Hamilton back through, I think. And he has done. Good driving that from LGS. And meanwhile, Ice Cold Andy has now swept into the lead. But XRL line is not letting him get away. Got the DRS. And Andy's now taking the wider line to turn 1. But that's going to give him a good sweet spot towards turn 2. And Lightning just can't close the gap.
These tyres will be going off now. It won't be that long anyway. About 2 or 3 more laps until you start seeing the pit stops.
And again, we're now close to a 5-car duel because XRL GS has got Robbo all over his gearbox. Shades of Malaysia from last week, this viewers. We're back where we were last time.
There's a lot of battles behind that as well. Looks like 6th and 7th are pretty close.
It's hard to follow all the coverage here. Sometimes you wish you had 3 streams at once.
Oh, that would be good.
But in the meantime, we've got Robbo now getting up to the back of LGS, who's duking this way and that way, trying to look for a way past Hamilton. And ahead of them, Ice Cold Andy has not been able to drop XRL Lightning, obviously not liking these newer tyres. Oh, and a big mistake from Hamilton. He's gone off the track, and both Robbo and LGS sweep on by.
Oh, Lewis Hamilton's really struggling with the tyres now.
He's completely fallen off the cliff, but up ahead, XRL Lightning has got an excellent drive on the back of Andy. But the DRS flap is open, the sparks are flying from the bottom of Andy's car, and he's just not close enough to make the blast stick. Meanwhile, behind now, we've got a bit of a close dual action between Robbo and XRL LGS. And ahead of the field, Ice Cold Andy and Lightning stay out as LGS goes off the track, but keeps our full momentum, and he's looking at the side of XRL Lightning now, down towards turn 1. He's gone onto the outside line, there's no grip there, he's going to have to yield, and indeed he's gone so wide that Robbo's nearly been able to sweep up the inside towards turn 2. Robbo's having to commit to the outside line, very clever defensive driving, and LGS just holds the position. LGS is all over the back of that gearbox of XRL Lightning now, and it's causing him big problems because Robbo's able to get perfect drive behind him. Off the hairpin, Robbo's got the better line, but he's not going to be close enough to force his way through the chicane. But LGS goes a little wide. Oh, there's a little contact from Robbo and LGS. Robbo lets him back through.
Getting
and that's given a bit of breathing space.
They're getting impatient behind Lightning now. He really is starting to struggle on the tyres.
Well, Robbo's got superb drive off that pair of corners at turn 10. Can he get by on the inside of the hairpin? Surely not. It'd be a risky move to attempt to pass there. Into the detection zone, and he's very, very close to the back of LGS. So LGS were getting very nervous because theoretically this is the battle for the lead, as the guys ahead have not yet pitted. And superb drive from Robbo is right on the inside of the gearbox. There goes the flap. But LGS has got the same advantage on Hamilton and XRL Lightning. So Robbo goes right on the outside. He's committed to the outside defensive line. LGS taps the car. Both guys are going at it hammer and tongs. They're side by side towards the final corner, and Robbo's just holding the high ground as Lightning finally dives into the pits, and LGS follows him.
LGS is followed. That is surprising. He must be having tyre wear issues.
That's right on board. I'm right on board with LGS now, and there's only one pit crew in the garage. It's a penalty. It's not a pit stop. Well, meanwhile, in 5th place, Too Much Too Late is right behind Jambo, who is looking at the outside line of Connery's towards turn 2. As indeed XRL Too Much Too Late gets better drive, and Jambo gets a wonderful traction off the second corner, looking to outdrag Connery's on the outside towards sector 1, and he makes it stick. But then Jambo goes a little wider, the hairpin itself. Connery's is getting a better look at the inside, but he's not close enough to go by on the inside line towards the chicane. Well, meanwhile, we do have a battle for the lead, so we're going to have to cut away from this infuriating.
It's ridiculous again, isn't it? There's just good battles everywhere.
Ice Cold Andy's made a big mistake at turn 10, at turn 11, and Robbo has inherited the lead.
Has he stayed out 1 lap too many?
Quite possibly, because Robbo's got a bit of a gap now, and the question is, does Robbo have DRS? No, he doesn't, so DRS is going to be active for Andy, and Andy's going to be eyeing up taking the place back.
Hasn't quite got enough.
It's not close enough there. Nearly went into the back rear tyre of Robbo there, but pulled off to the left. Good driving from Andy, good spatial awareness. I mean, well, there's been an overtake behind for turn 3. Andy stayed out again. He's not going straight into the pits. Jambo's through into P3. And then Too Much Too Late has done him under DRS. Has managed to get past Connerized. But Connerized is right behind Danny Pierce now. DRS active down towards turn 1. Side by side, but Danny Pierce is not giving up. He's forced it to the outside. Both guys touch wheels. Connerized then touches the back of the diffuser. This is very fighty stuff from Connery's, but he's not been close enough to make the move stick. Connery's getting slightly better drive of turn 2 though, heading out towards 3 and 4 at the end of sector 1. Prediction from the stream, our expert analyst F1 Knight, saying that he expects Andy to do a long prime and 3 option stints. Possible.
Is that a race-winning strategy? Because I might use it tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Connery's got better drive off turn 8, and Danny Pierce has touched wheels once again. These two are going at it like it's 1980s duels between Senna and Mansell. Connery's taking the tighter line through turns 11 there, giving him better drive into the very, very long turn 12.
To put it into perspective though, Robbo's made about 2 seconds this lap on Andy, so...
Sorry, they could have quite used the caution, but Connery's got a superb good DRS drive on Danny Pierce, pulls out ahead of him before the hairpin, gets on the anchors to control the pace, and gets through easily.
That's a reason. Yeah, that's a Too Much Elite. Where is Danny Pierce at the moment? There's Too Much Elite pits. Yeah, it's about time. He does need to pit. He pitted very early.
Pits now, we've actually got a car in there, and that is Ice Cold Andy. Andy has boxed.
So he's in. Where's that going to put him then?
Quite far down the field, probably around about P9.
P8, and
no,
he's
P7.
just...
P7, P8 maybe?
P8, he's behind Lewis Hamilton by about 3 seconds. No, less than that.
Hamilton was behind him.
Yeah, so...
Upper's now running a net P4 at the moment, and LGS is in P5, having served that drive-through penalty. Not sure what that was for, so I guess we'll find out later on in the race. But there's a bit of a three-car scrap going on between LGS, Tuppers, and Jambo.
Lightning's not too far away from this as well, on fresh tyres.
Yeah, whereas LGS's tyres aren't that fresh now, so he's going to be a man under pressure.
He's had a penalty, hasn't he? That's why he's there.
That's right, yeah. That penalty has totally thrown him out of sync now. A bit of debate on the stream at the moment. People are saying surely it's better to run 2 prime stints and then the options rather than 3 times option. It's a tricky call. It's one of those tracks where it depends on how good your tyre wear is.
Definitely. Any GP2 guys or anyone who wants to do an 100% race, I will be doing one afterwards because I need to practice. For some reason, at the moment I'm using a 2.8 ride height, and it's working.
He's not. He's lying to you. Meanwhile, LGS and Tubbers both go off at the final turn, and as a result of that, instead the DRS negated, and he's under massive pressure now from XRL Lightning. But Lightning's just not close enough out this turn just yet, but he's looking at the inside of turn 1 and 2, as LGS is thinking about the same thing on Tuppers. Very, very close between these guys. This naturally very slow corner really brings everyone close together. Oh, his wheel banging from the outside of Lightning there. He hit LGS at least twice going past him at turn 3. Meanwhile, Tuppers has had to go defensive and onto the grass because of the way Conorize is driving his line at the hairpin. Well, I'm not so sure that was fair from Lightning. He seemed to really push, really push the LGS out of the way. And indeed, he's done the same thing to Tuppers through the fast sweeping chicanes. He's hit him at least twice. Coming into turn 10, the actual move itself was clean, but was set up because of the fact that he kept on pushing Tuppers. But Tuppers is not giving up. A guy called Jenko Jackster on the stream. Yes, we do have a website. It's exciteracingleague.com or .co.uk. We have one for the forum and one for the main website.
I'll put it down, don't worry.
Well, meanwhile, XRL Lightning, DRS acting now on Conorize, pulled out to the inside. And that's a move done and dusted. Behind him, though, he's been followed by Tuppers, who's taken the same line into the head, but Tuppers has got all 4 wheels off. He's going to have to yield that place. If he does not yield that will be a penalty.
Poor Ferrari.
Conrad's got into the pits. And by the way, Dan, you were beaten to the punch by Weswick by about 3 seconds.
I know. I saw that. I was like, I just waited down.
LGS going at the inside of Tuppers at turn 1 of the chicane. And he's looking for the switchback through turn 2, but he's just not got the drive and the traction. Meanwhile, behind them, Lewis Hamilton has managed to force his way past the Force India. Ice Cold Andy now is very, very much behind him. They're literally separated about 2 or 3 tenths, these two. Very, very close action on track. That's Cullen deploying the curves, looking at getting an aggressive move for turns 7 and 8, the sweeper chicanes. He's forced Hamilton to take the wide line, and that's a sensational piece of driving, very opportunistic. Ice Cold Andy takes the place. It's not going to make him open to DRS, though, down towards turn 15. Lewis Hamilton's very, very close behind. Well, suddenly backed off through the very slow corner at the end of sector 2 for some reason, and that's opened a big gap to him and Ice Cold Andy. So even with the DRS open, I don't think he's going to close the gap. Well, as Ice Cold Andy's got the gap moving ahead, XRL LGS is all over the back of Tuppers. Really, really close between these two. Both guys pushing the absolute maximum through the final turn, using as much of the grass as possible. LGS has the flap open. He's looking to the inside for the snail chicane. Tuppers tried to go defensive on the outside, carrying more speed to the corner, but LGS just had the high ground, and Tuppers has had to yield the place. But Tuppers is not one for giving up. He's shown big fight in the GP2 League last season, and he's made it to this one. He wants the big points, so he's keeping LGS honest. Maybe 3 tenths, 4 tenths between them, and LGS goes very wide as she can happen. Right at the end of sector 1, Tuppers has got the better drive, but he's just going to be on the outside for the fast sweepers, and therefore LGS is going to retain the place, but he almost went wide again, LGS. Tuppers is going on, LGS is all over the road. This is really aggressive drive from LGS, very aggressive defence. Tuppers is showing excellent spatial awareness and car control to avoid going into the back of him. quite sure what that was from LGS there. He was getting very aggressive in defence, but at the same time, Tuppers may have wore his tyres out and that was just completely on the outside. Through a very slow corner. That's not a place you can usually overtake, but he held that one very, very well indeed. And at the same time, Tuppers is now under massive threat from his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's got the DRS open into the fine hairpin. That's 2 places lost in literally 2 corners for Tuppers. So that was actually Ice Cold Andy, not Jumbo who went through on the outside. Oh, meanwhile, LGS has made a big mistake at turns 1 and 2. He's gone wide, but he's holding the high ground into turn 2. Ice Cold Andy's thinking about trying to get the switch back on the inside here, and he's gone the outside goal. LGS has literally pushed him as far as he can. Both guys are still side by side.
Here goes Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton's seen the opening here. He's gone to the inside of the hairpin. At the same time, Ice Cold Andy's got brilliant drive on the hairpin corner. Going on the outside for turns 7 and 8. Can Hamilton following through? Hanging around the outside. He can. That was turn 8, and Ice Cold Andy's gone very wide into the turn 9 and 10 sweepers.
Whoa, what's happened to LGS there? LGS has dropped the place.
LGS got completely and utterly swamped. Brilliant drive from both Hamilton and Ice Cold Andy. That's going to be a contender for next week's Overtake of the Week.
Definitely. That was a... Both of them did well, but Lewis Hamilton just seems to get such a good drive.
That was just blazing, driving very, very daring, literally hanging their rear ends over the ragged edge. And LGS now is all over the place, down in 7th now. Perez is not too far behind him. In 9th, we've got Danny Pearce in the Sauber, and he's under massive pressure because Too Much Too Elite, who's on the option tyres, has got the DRS flap open down towards the hairpin. And meanwhile, Danny Pearce took a cheeky look at the inside of Perez there at the hairpin, but had to back out of it and yield. Through the final corner, but all 3 cars pushing themselves right to the ragged edge, trying to use as much of the track as they can. And Danny Pearce just has such great driving gearbox off that final corner. He's almost rear-ended the back of Perez. He had that much extra speed. He'd have to give up the line into turns 1 and 2.
We have got a smoking gearbox. The first one I've seen all year. And it's coming from the Sauber of XRL Too Much Elite. What? Now
Indeed,
it
stops. And Too Much Too Elite is looking at the outside as Danny Pearce just let him through. But at the same time, that's all. Someone's gone too wide into the hairpin. Danny Pearce takes the tighter line, but he's just not got the pace there to be able to defend when it's prime versus option.
Start looking at the back of XRL Too Much Elite's car on the slow corners. Look now. There,
Yeah, he does. You're right.
He'll do it again here.
For the meantime, Connor Rice has caught out to the back of these guys now. We've got a 4-car duel for the tail end of the points. Who says this is all about the winners, eh?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Crazy Fish, you've got yourself a penalty for the next race, advertising a rival league on our stream.
That is the one F1 Lloyd used to race in.
That's a 20-second penalty to you, Crazy Fish. Meanwhile, Connor Rice looking at the inside of the hairpin from way back. He's got all 4 wheels off. And also at the same time, Danny Pearce was contacted. Connor Rice is going to have to give that place back. If he doesn't give that back, that's going to be a penalty. He will keep on going up on the inside of the hairpin, cutting all 4 wheels off. And he's not yielded the place back, Connor Rice. So lap 23, I believe that was an illegal overtake.
LGS is in the pit, he's in P10. Perez, his teammate, is in the pit, and he's P11.
Well, Connor Rice has broken the gap ahead of Danny Pearce and got right onto the back of the teammate to him, which is XRL Too Much Too Elite. And Elite goes very wide again at the hairpin at the end of sector 1. He takes a very wide line there, and it's got Connor Rice right up his gearbox towards turns 7 and 8, the fast sweepers. F1 Nige is asking a question on the stream, asking if he thought this was the F1 division. Why is everyone driving so amateurishly and aggressively? I don't know, ask the guys who raced at Abu Dhabi for real last year. Because that was the same kind of thing. The closest battle on track at the moment is the battle between 7th, 8th and 9th, with 2 elites in 7th place, under pressure from Conor Eyes and the Ferrari, who's probably going to be in the DRS zone down towards the hairpin at the end of sector 2. There goes the flat from Conor Eyes, got much better overspeed, but he's just out of room down towards the hairpin. Can he make it stick? He's on the anchors very, very late. And once again, he's got all 4 wheels up on the inside and taken the place. That's 2 in 2 laps now. Oh, he's letting back through as he's diving into the pits.
And now he's under pressure, Danny Pearce.
Yeah, you cut across me for a little time there. Danny Pearce, massive, ultimate opportunist to overtake there. But Conor Eyes is thinking about taking the outside line at turn 1 and has gone too wide and onto the grass. That's cost him at least half a second. Danny Pearce can breathe a little easily. Coming out of the pits now, we've got LGS has come out in 8th place. Moving further forward in the field, we've got a bit of a duel between 4th and 3rd place. Ice Cold Andy has caught right up to the back of the Mercedes being piloted by XRL Lightning. So Ice Cold Andy's got the bit between his teeth here, and he's got the prime tyres on, looking to try and make this stint go long as well. Mirroring the strategy mentioned earlier on the stream by a few of our viewers. There goes the flat, and Conor Eyes has lost connection. We've had another retirement.
See if we can get him in, if possible. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he was facing an investigation for 2 illegal overtakes. Now that he's no longer in the race.
And he's in.
And he's already back in the pits.
What?
He's only been in for 8 laps.
Let's see if this is a pit crew. Yeah, there is a pit crew.
And he's retired.
What?
Ice Cold Andy's retired from the race. Hi Connor, what happened, mate?
The internet decided they didn't want to play anymore.
The internet decided you didn't want to play anymore. That's the best one I've heard today so far.
Well, we've got a bit of a shock development though here, viewers, where Ice Cold Andy, who was in a net 4th place, looking to be closing right to the back of XRL Lightning and threatening the podium, pulled into the pits and retired.
Andy!
Hey, Andy, what was the reason for that, mate?
That's glorious, my tire.
But it seems to be on for a possible podium though, because you were right behind the back of XRL Lightning. LGS has had a penalty, so all the main rivals are taking themselves out of contention.
No, but from my point of view, the tires are just because I was really struggling in the traction.
So tyres and braking issues from Andy. Oh dear. Nige is just grinning now, watching the stream.
Because of course he also retired, so the 2 leaders of the championship have retired. It means we are going to break the streak. We're not going to have the same winner each week this time, guys, so small grace is there for the people watching the league. I'm very sorry it happened there for you, Andy, but I hope you have better result next week in Bahrain.
Oh, actually, before you go, did you see anything on the first lap with you and Nige?
I'm not sure what happened there because they're all like side by side, and then I'm not sure whether I turned to the left, sort of spinning, and
just a brief update from the race viewers, but our new leader now is Jambo, who's been chased very quickly by XRL Lightning through turns 9 and 10. XRL Lightning's got much better drive.
Andy, Nige is going to wanted to have a chat with you, so...
I'll not speak to him.
I think he just wants to know, really, doesn't he?
After that incident.
Lightning is muscling his way past through the slow turn at the end of sector 2. Sorry guys to cut across you. And he's going to have the DRS more than likely to break the gap. So it's XRL Lightning on for a potential first win here in this season. Oh, but he's been rear-ended very heavily by Jambo there. Jambo's got better drive, even though he's not got DRS, and unbelievably has taken the place back at the final hairpin without DRS.
Yeah, but Lightning had a bit of curves left and has got the position back again.
But still, that's got to be really troubling XRL Lightning. He's going to be under massive pressure now.
Another person's retired, that's Perez. Yeah, see you later, Connor.
So now every driver's going to get points because
and more.
there's only 10 runners.
There's only 8 runners.
That's 12 on my screen with us 2.
Yeah, but you got to include the guys who have retired within that. You got Nige who finished 12th, Connor 11th, Andy in 10th, Perez in 9th, and then the top 8 are still racing. Only 8 racing, a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, it's surprising that everyone's got. We're only just at half race distance, literally now. Half race distance, and I'm very, very surprised there. I mean, oh yeah, Ice Cold Andy said he couldn't take any more of it.
Connor's connection, I think Perez retired in the pit, and Nige retired after turn 1. See, Nige, if he stayed along, played the long game, you could gain points on him today.
But the same thing goes to Ice Cold Andy. His title rival was out of the race. He already had a gap of 14 points. He could have been looking at anything up to 40-point lead at the end of this race. That's what he potentially could have had. And instead, he's just gone, I can't take any more of it, and gone off and got nothing.
Well, he's got 1 point, so happy days.
Oh, wow. Meanwhile, Rodo's got DRS on the back of Jambo. Third place down to our second. He's on the brakes much later. Rodo sweeps through, and he's now looking like a safe bet for taking the lead, him and XRL Lightning, all the way to the flag. Meanwhile, one person on the stream said they're going to the pub. Not a bad idea. I might go to my pub, the Fridge.
I've already done that.
In fact, that's what I am going to do. Back in a couple of moments.
Okey-doke, right. So I'm going to take over now. We've got Robbo in P2. He is really closing in on Lightning. Lightning should have tyre wear issues after last week. So I would like to think that he's got a chance here. Let's have a look. He's only about a second and a half down, if that. So come on, Robbo. Rice Paddy Gaming. It's been a bit of a shame tonight. Only 8 people still in the race, only at half race distance as well. Bit of a disappointment. He's got to go the long game, but Robbo should have DRS here and close in on that gap.
Yeah, he's very close to the back of him at the end of sector 2, isn't he? He's literally about 5 or 6 tenths behind. And also Lightning's going very wide, risking going over the outside curve, which really slows your car down. Robbo's got all his curves as well, so this could be an easy pass. Oh, he's not even waiting for the DRS zone. Thank you very much, I'm through. Get out of the way. So the question is, can Lightning possibly outbrake him? Not likely, but he's going to give it a go, and he's certainly tried. But he's gone far too aggressive and ambitious there. Great fight from Lightning, but a very, very foolish move in the end.
Clumsy, wasn't it, really?
It was good evasive driving to avoid taking him out, though. Big respect for him for at least trying. He did better than Gutierrez did to Sufel, though. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton now is right behind the Sauber being piloted tonight by Danny Pearce, who's running in 3rd place. So Lewis Hamilton's staring at a potential podium position here.
I think we've got P1 and 2 sorted, but this 3rd podium position is
Lewis
definitely...
Hamilton with DRS down towards turn 1, and he's dummied Danny Pearce, forced him to go to the outside and swept through. Danny Pearce has made a big mistake, got off the track, and as a result, he's actually been followed through by Jambo to take 4th place, 2 places in 1 corner there.
Some banter going on the chat. Crazy Fish saying he's got a good setup for China which saves tyres, and he won at Melbourne with the same setup. Clark's following that up with, have you got a larger helmet?
Not going to dignify that one with a response, I think.
Right, so we've got 2 lost connections, but they're both guys that are already retired. So Perez, we will be seeing him tomorrow night in Season 2, where you'll be seeing the likes of Perez, myself, Bobbert, who will probably be finishing near the back. Who else? Nutters, midfield at best. Sean Bean's got a great chance of winning, and Ben H96 will do well as well.
Danny Pearce is now under big pressure from XRL LGS because he's fallen down the field a bit, and LGS is going to have the DRS. There goes the flap, and there's no DRS to defend for Danny Pearce. Down towards the hairpin. Now, Danny Pearce's gearbox just makes him invincible there, though. No one can seem to get near him. Meanwhile, coming into the final corner, LGS keeping it on the island as Danny's a bit wide, so ruins his traction a bit. LGS pulls out of the slipstream. Danny Pearce pulls across the defence. Looking down towards turn 1. Can he get the move there? No, LGS backs out. Just sees that the car's a bit in opposition, but he's seen the inside. Oh, bit of contact there, and he's been spun round. Both guys go into a spin.
Oh dear, oh dear.
From LGS there. That was very clumsy. At the same time, though, I would say that LGS did have his car ahead. Danny Pearce did not. And when the car is ahead, you do have to yield. But Jambo, meanwhile, has got a great positioning behind XRL Lewis Hamilton. Coming through the sweepers at turns 7 and 8. Battle for 4th and 3rd place here. Jambo's really got the pace.
I've got a long list tonight. Turtle Bobbert is saying that he wants to see more of last week. Well, I'm sure your teammate won't want that, so...
I think he's all about the F1 division, where we had some of the cleanest, most exciting racing we've ever seen. Tonight, I will be honest, while there's been some nice moves, there's been a lot of poor driving tonight.
Yeah, as Nigel just said, there's just been too many incidents. I'm struggling for paper. This page is nearly, yeah, this page is actually nearly run out of stuff. It's not a full page.
Jambo now has got the DRS open on the back of Lewis Hamilton going down towards turn 1. We saw a lap ago how incident-packed this corner can be. Jambo's been a bit wiser.
Lightning comes out behind Tuppers.
Well, look at Tuppers. He's having a strong race here in China. Well, XRL Stars chipping in saying maybe a lot of it's to do with lag. He has a point. If there is a lot of lag going on, it can be very difficult to race. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton gets poor drive off the hairpin at the end of Sector 1. Jambo looks ready to pounce, but has decided to play the waiting game here. Intelligent driving from Jambo, looking to maximise his points now that his teammate is not in the race at the moment. And Lewis Hamilton seems to really be struggling for his Sector 2. Crazy Fish is saying this race is like the real GP2, more like the real GP3.
God, that race at Abu Dhabi was a bit of a...
Oh, meanwhile, look at this, Jambo, really very, very close to the back of Hamilton. He saved all his curves, getting to the toe straight away. There goes the flap. And Jambo basically says, get out of the way, this place is mine. But we also saw Jambo successfully defend this once, so can Hamilton do the same? No, he can't. Oh, Hamilton goes all 4 wheels up on the inside of the hairpin. I'm sick of people doing that now. It's a really easy advantage gainer.
Jambo's pulled away from that battle now, so that's P2 and 3. We've got P4 as LGS, but I think with his penalty, he's really put his chances out. And Lightning's all over Tuppers.
Yeah, he is. I was about to say that. Tuppers is really under pressure here from Lightning. But Tuppers has shown his mettle. Of course, veteran driver rode a couple of years ago and then took a break before coming back in GP2. And has shown he's got the pace here for F1. Not the front-running pace, but you don't have to be.
You don't have to be tonight, that's for sure.
No, sometimes being able to outlast is better than being able to outdrive. And that's exactly what Tuppers is doing here. with a cheeky request from someone there saying, watch my stream of a 25% race. We're kind of preoccupied right now, guys. I admire your tenacity, though. Now, meanwhile, XRL Lightning's got better drive at the end of Sector 2 than Tuppers, but then, as he gets into the higher gears, seems to get more wheel spin. That's a bizarre thing to experience, that. There goes the flap from Lightning. Is he going to be able to close the gap on Tuppers? Even with DRS, Tuppers can't defend. But on the anchors later than Lightning, as Lightning goes all four wheels off again on the inside. But he's yielded the place back to Tuppers, so good driving there.
Tuppers goes wide, here's his chance.
Well, Tuppers might still have DRS, but the lack of traction off that final corner due to the tight line he took is going to ruin his race, and he's going to have to yield here, surely.
And he has done.
Indeed he does. Tuppers is not giving up this without a fight. He's getting right near to the back of Lightning, but Lightning's got a little bit of a gap now and has his eyes on the back of XRL LGS.
Well, Motorsport Nerd has put a good point. The F4 races this season have been a lot better than this one. Both F4, there's not been one action from a steward's report from F4. Not one.
Well, LGS has got a bit wide through turn 8 of the sweepers, and that's brought XRL Lightning right back into the frame here, right before the DRS zone, the last thing LGS needed. So coming to the end of Sector 2 now towards turn 11, Lightning's not going to look for a pass here, but he's surely... Oh, he's literally touched the back of the diffuser there. So much better on the brakes. And XRL Lightning deploying the last of his curves. No, he's going to hold on to it. He's decided it's close enough as it is. There goes the flap, and it looks like he's going to pull out of the slipstream, and provided he can get the car stopped. Oh, a bit of jerking around there from LGS. But it looks like he's just going to get away. LGS going to try to look on the outside to defend.
Run wide, Tuppers.
And Tuppers has taken him as well. They're side by side going down towards the final turn. LGS has got the natural racing line now and just holds the high ground. But now, of course, Tuppers is going to have the DRS and is very, very close to the back of LGS. As a result, there goes the flap. But he's topping out too early, and I think LGS is just going to hold the high ground.
But it's funny, you know, Bobo sent me a message in midweek saying that he wants to move down to division because he doesn't feel like he's got a chance of winning a race. This week, he's going to win if he just keeps it good.
And the thing as well, Robo needs to take heart from that, is it's not just because the other guys were tired. He did it on genuine pace.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Tuppers has really got to the back of XRL LGS. Through these sweepers, he's so much closer. And LGS goes wide at turns 9 and 10. LGS is having an awful time on this stint of tyres. Well, and LGS nearly causes Tuppers to climb the back of his diffuser. He's just not got the confidence to stop the car and get the grip out of the corners, whereas Tuppers is just able to get straight on the accelerator and really push on. Rusty Us wants to be in F5, too late.
I was considering moving myself down, you know, because I can't win otherwise.
Oh, God, on the outside, Tuppers trying to down there, move a long way around with a hairpin. LGS holds the natural racing line now to keep the place.
Tuppers has got a bit of curves left. He's going to get the DRS. He needs to take his corner well. He doesn't.
And LGS has gone too wide, so he's going to trigger the auto brake as well, so he's going to get better pace off the corner. But he's just topping out too early. He's trying to set up a dummy there for LGS, and LGS has been suckered by it. Tuppers looking on the inside of turn 1. There's contact from the cars. Tuppers might be able to have a switch back into turn 2. No, he's just run out of room. But he's also got a better line coming out of the corner, and he might be thinking about trying to get by around the outside towards the hairpin. They touch tyres again, side by side into the final hairpin here in sector 1. And Thomas looks at the switchback, touches the inside of the car, and has to filter back into slick
It doesn't look as if it's
lane.
like a bit of lag though with this tyre touching.
Tyre touching I've not got much of an issue with, to be honest. It's a sign of close racing if you just touch tyres. It's when you're knocking people's end plates off and putting them off line and spinning them out, that's when I've got problems with it.
Yeah.
I actually miss proper wheel-to-wheel racing. Part of the reason I watch Le Mans a lot is actually do wheel-to-wheel racing now. Speaking of that, if anyone's thinking of going to Le Mans next year, I'll see you there, because I've actually bought my tickets for it.
Alright, nice one.
It only cost me 120 quid, including camping for a week.
Really? That's quite good.
Quite. That's not even half the cost of a day at Silverstone.
Okay, that's very good.
Now, meanwhile, Tuppers, look, it's got the inside of LGS, but LGS has got better drive. And yes, F1 Knives, I've not got an issue with tyres touching. Not banging, not as in literally like passing out of the road, but if you're both side by side and your tyres brush as you're going for a move, I've not got an issue with that. Tyre to tyre doesn't really cause any damage or wear.
It's when it's like the niggly wings on like the back of the tyres. If there's real life, they would be getting punches.
Yeah, exactly, you're right, you'd be getting the punches, and as I say, I mean, at the end of the day, it's getting a touch there, an XRL Sky, you're talking about the travel costs for them all, it'll actually be cheap for me to go down to France than go down to Silverstone.
Really?
Because I don't drive.
Ah, okay.
And plus, Le Mans is a 24-hour race, not a 2-hour race.
Yeah, good point.
That's just me anyway, enough about me and my jet setting. Let's get back to the action on the track. Tuppers are going through turn 10, down towards the end of sector 2. He's closer to LGS this time. So he may be able, if he gets the line up there, nice smooth turn, but you got a bit of oversteer at the exit. Still got the traction though. Oh, but then he's spinning up the tyres through the slow corner.
Very difficult
too eager on the
corner.
throttle.
Very difficult corner with the traction.
Well, it seems to have caused opened a bit of can of worms on the stream here with regards to my comments on tyre banging. People saying you shouldn't have any contact at all. I'm sorry, but if you go back to 1978 and watch the race between Gilles Villeneuve and René Arnoux at Jarama, look at how many times they touched wheels and how much that was a brilliant race to watch. Mansell and Piquet, Senna and Prost. Even Schumacher and Hakkinen did it.
Tuppers is starting to lose grip on those tyres.
Yeah, he's struggling to get the power down now, isn't he? He's really making it, and that's where LGS is
honest,
pulling away.
He's still keeping LGS honest.
Yeah. But Dan, what's your comments about the wheels touching then? Because let's get your perspective.
I can see where you're coming from, definitely. You know, you look at all the classic races, but you're talking about real day, like now Formula 1, it's generally not, doesn't happen to, well, I don't know, I don't mind it, as long as it's not like every lap in your face. Like, I think whenever Lightning especially sort of has someone try and get past him, there's a bit of wheel banging, because that's the nature of his driving, but
I must say, I mean, I'm one of those. If it happens when you're going into a braking zone and you do a light tap, that's all it is. No one loses racing line, no one damages the car, that's no issue. Yeah, so that's no issue to me. But it's like if you're someone who's like, literally you hit someone and they start sliding out, or they completely break traction and get extra tyre wear, then I've got a problem with it. I must say that modern racing is a bit softer. Even touring cars don't do it anymore. And that is a real shame. They used to like pretty much open the door into each other when it came to capacity.
Yeah, that's true.
So unfortunately, the race is starting to die down a little bit now. Tuppers and LGS are the closest action on track. But I'd say Tuppers are wearing tyres, not making it very easy for himself. While we've got the time, just make sure you're all aware. Tomorrow night, of course, is the GP2 We'll be live on Channel 1, so you can keep an eye on that. Also GP3 on the Tuesday night, 8 PM. And then we've got the dual cast of F4 and F5000 on both Channel 1 and Channel 2 on the Wednesday night. And then on the Thursday night, you've got the Classic Leagues. For those guys who've committed, please ensure you're there. Last week we had a bit of a problem in the 80s race where very few people turned up, myself included, because I didn't know it was this week. So I'm going to be there in the box alongside with Dan doing the 1980s League, and we're also going to have support on the 90s League at the same time, both channels live on the same night. Please stay tuned to that. That's Malaysia in the Classic Leagues.
Yeah, I think that's going to be... I hope there'll be a bit of an improvement this week. I think the first week was just sort of touching the water, seeing how it all go. And...
Bit of a jaw, the pit stop.
Oh,
LGS has gone off on gravel. Done a Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren, and as a result, Tuppers now is going to come ahead. But LGS might actually benefit from this bizarrely, purely because he might hold Tuppers up.
Yeah, he's got the first stop, hasn't he? So
right on board with XRL LGS. Yeah, he's pulling out now, and he's actually going to gain time. He's come out down to 6th place as Danny Pearce has swept through to 5th.
Ooh, LGS is in the gravel. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
So we did got the same thing. So LGS actually, although he gained, he didn't.
But, yeah, because he's unfortunately gone off the track completely.
Too much elite is last out of the 8 so far. He kind of displayed some really good pace, but now it's just dropped off, and that may be something to do with his gearbox issues that he's got.
Maybe. So speaking of pace, we'll give you a rundown of the fastest laps of those guys still running. First place got Rob out in front with not the fastest lap on 1:38.7. Second place we've got 1:38.2 from Jambo. Third place Lewis Hamilton at 1:38.8. XRL Lightning fourth on a 1:38.3. But then Danny Pearce 1:37.1 on the option tyres. He's got some blistering pace in that car. Sixth, we've got Tuppers on a 1:38.6, and also behind him in 7th, XRL LGS, 1:38.8, and Too Much Too Elite, 1:38.4. So if you look at that, if you discount Danny Pearce, there's literally about 6/10 between the field on lap times. That is nothing.
It is close, isn't it?
For 100% race distance, that is absolutely nothing.
It does show how competitive this division is. The one person today has stood out in the crowd, and that is Robbo. He's just been super consistent. Not the quickest, but he's been in the right places at the right time. He's doing the job.
You don't need to be the fastest. It's like Murray used to say, to finish first you have to finish. And that's exactly what he's done. He's done the pace, which, while it's not setting the record books alight, while he's not the fastest of the field, he's been able to keep it consistent, keep it on the island, and get into a good position. But meanwhile, we've got a bit of a duel here between 3rd and 4th. XRL Lightning right behind Lewis Hamilton now, going through the long turn towards the DRS zone. Saved a bit of his curves, but he's not deployed it here. Looks like he might be thinking about trying to get the pass down towards turn 1, or maybe defend the hairpin. It's done with Lewis Hamilton. He's gone on the inside. Hamilton filters back towards the racing line and holds the high ground for now. In towards the final corner, Lewis Hamilton pushing wide, sparking the car, and Lightning therefore deploys the DRS on the curves, but Hamilton just been able to drop away. That's unbelievable. Oh, meanwhile, there, the Ferraris come out.
That's Robbo. That's Robbo. He's pitted for his final stop.
Well, this is going to make things interesting then, because Robbo's on fresh tyres and right behind these two, and he doesn't want to be held up by these guys. The last thing he needs.
kind of didn't work. You'd have just needed one more second, if that.
Indeed, meanwhile, Lightning was looking at the inside of the hairpin there, had to back out of the corner, just didn't quite have the grip. Rebels behind these guys by maybe half a second, thinking, get out of the way! Move! Going through the sweepers. Now a big lock up there for Lightning. Looks like he had to get on the anchors. Totally caught him out there. And again, locking up into turn 9. He's really pushing that car as Hamilton is going very, very defensive here. He's not very far ahead at all. Down towards turn 11, the tight hairpin that signifies the end of sector 2. And Lightning's really stuck to the back of that car like a housefly. As Lewis Hamilton goes wide, but then a bit of oversteer. And Lightning are there side by side coming out of the corner.
Robert's going past them both.
In behind them. That's what Robert's thinking. There goes the flop. He's already past Lightning. And Hamilton's inadvertently giving him a tow by coming over to defend from Lightning. Robbo gets on the inside. Can he make it stop into the final corner? He can.
What a move.
Driving.
What a move from Robbo there to take both of them. Absolutely fantastic driving. And that is just one in the race, in my opinion.
Unbelievable driving there from that. And also big respect to Lewis Hamilton, who gave in the room. Could have easily tapped the rear tyre, could have easily topped his wing, didn't. And that was very respectful, very good driving.
Exactly. If he was stuck behind them for a couple more laps, it wouldn't have been good at all.
Bryce Paddy Gaming's already calling that the overtake of the week. He's calling it now. And Robbo's now on the fresh tyres. This is the chance for him to really put the pace down and be able to get away and take that gap. Hamilton, meanwhile, is not dropped too far away from Lightning, but he is out of the DRS zone now, so he's going to have to do it the hard way.
Definite, yeah, that's a definite overtake of the week right there. In fact, we will play the overtakes of the week at the end of the stream for the Malaysia one. The poll will be on the website tomorrow for you to vote for the best one of the three.
And I would say there's lots of them. They're very, very good driving from all three. It's going to be a difficult choice, really.
Yeah, this week was a really difficult choice because F1 was so good last week.
F1 was mental, absolutely brilliant racing. And it's just a shame that this one's not to the same standard. Yeah, the racing's been good. There's been some great racing, don't get me wrong. But the standard of driving's not been anywhere near as good.
No, it's just not been there, is it? Lewis Hamilton runs extremely deep at the hairpin. Pit stop. And
we don't really have any close gaps at the moment, unfortunately. So there is someone in the pits. Who's in the pits?
Lewis Hamilton's just gone into the pits. Danny Pearce will come out right just in front of him. He's on the option tyres. 13 laps to go on the options. He'll have the pit, surely.
You'd expect so, but it's a question of when he put them on. He's already got lines on him, and indeed, he is going to sweep on through. Lewis Hamilton's not even left his box. Oh, and he's been passed as well by his teammate Tuppers. Oh, he's crossed the pit line. His front left tyre was over the pit line, over the white line. I think that's going to be a penalty.
We'll see what happens.
Also, there was contact there as one of the other cars went off the track as he joined the pit. LGS has really been unlucky this race.
I don't know how much of it is lag, though.
That's the only problem. Looks like when he came out of the pits, Lewis Hamilton, he was too close to the line and was halfway over, and that might have surprised LGS, so that when Hamilton's gone into the corner, he's been offline, and therefore drifted, and LGS has hit him. LGS now down in the last place here, right behind XRL Too Much Too Elite. And it's a gap of maybe 1.5 seconds between them. So LGS now is getting onto the back of XRL Too Much Too Elite. I don't think he's going to have the DRS though. Indeed he's not, but he's still got better pace. Oh, and Elite is really badly lagging here. He literally just goes halfway through, but meanwhile we've got a bit of a duel up ahead. As one of the cars just gone into the pits. Ah, Danny Pearce has gone into the pits.
Options, isn't it?
Yeah, so Hamilton now, he's out on the option tyres though. And he's closing up behind his teammate Tuppers. He'll be right over the back of him very soon. And behind him, meanwhile, we've had XRL2, it's too late, he's in 6th place. LGS is right behind him now.
And you won't be able to see much of that gearbox.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. We don't know if the gearbox has the same kind of issues that it did in the last game, where it could have potentially gave you an advantage. And as someone who never used it, I don't really know what it gained you, so I can't comment on it. But those who are aware of it might be able to give us some more insight. Meanwhile, F1 Nige, I understand his position. He's saying on the screen that the channel has not been here tonight, that basically there's too many over-eager and optimistic drivers, and that there are other corners, other laps, other days. I do agree with you, but at the same time, Nige, when you get taken over the first corner, you can apply the same logic as well. If you get taken over the first corner, there's no point just retiring, in my opinion. It's like the same for Andy when he said he couldn't cope with his tyres. It's like, there's a long ways to go. Anything can happen. The car behaviour can change under different fuel loads.
He was doing well as well, so I don't quite understand that.
Exactly, I don't get it. Sometimes people just need to think about it. It's just been, as Paddy said on the stream, it's just been one of those races. Oh, meanwhile, big mistake from XRL2, it's too late, and LGS goes, thank you very much. Just poached under the inside there, and too much too elite now, going around the final corner, had to get on the brakes. Still got the DRS, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to get threaten that position down towards turn 1. And indeed, he's had to back out. Up ahead, we've got a bit of a duel. I think that's Hamilton and Tuppers. Indeed, Hamilton's right behind his teammate. Options versus primes. Now, the question is Tuppers going to put up a fight here, or is he going to play the team game and let Hamilton through? Into the hairpin, Hamilton's gone straight for the move straight away, not giving him any option, but Tuppers has stuck with him and filtered in behind for 4th place. Question is, can Tuppers get close enough for a gap and go for the DRS down towards turn 14? Because he's not that far behind his teammate, despite the gap in tyres. Tuppers just didn't get the drive at the final corner, and too much too elite has also had the same problem behind LGS. We're at that stage of the race, unfortunately, where it looks like the gaps are pretty much stabilised, and unless there's some late final pit stops due, we're probably not going to see as much action on track, I'm afraid.
Lightning,
yeah, he is actually catching up to the back of Tuppers actually quite quickly now you mention it. So there's a commentator's curse for you. Oh, we're not going to see much more action. Oh, Lightning's catching up quickly. And indeed, Lightning is also on the option tyres. Now, if he's put them on very recently, he should be able to make them last to the end of the race. But if he keeps on stepping out the back like that, they're not going to last for much longer. But we are right at the end, pretty much the end of the race now. So, Dan, who's your driver of the race?
Well, we were both wrong with LGS, that's for sure. Well, it has to be Robert, hasn't it? You know, he's not been the quickest today. Let's not kid ourselves. But he's done what needs to be done. He's made some good overtakes when he's needed to, and he's controlled the race, and he's done everything well. Jambo's had a good race. He's come through the pack, having said that.
XRL Lightning just doing an overtake on Tuppers, who went very, very wide at the long sweeping turn at the end of Sector 2. But Tuppers has stuck with him, and despite the fact that the DRS is active on XRL Lightning, Tuppers is sticking with him. But I think the drag reduction is just going to do too much here, and Tuppers is going to have to yield the high ground.
You would expect it though. Option tyres, I think they're quite fresh.
But at the same time, he went very, very wide there, clattered the inside curb. Tuppers pitched his car into a jump, and as a result, Tuppers is thinking, all right, game on. but he's going on the outside. This is a very risky attempt here. We saw Fernando Alonso do this very well in the real race this season, but Tuppers just has not got the grip, and he's going to have to hold on to it.
Crazy Fish is heading off.
Which is fair enough. In the meantime, Tuppers is keeping Lightning honest. There might be a gap between the tyres, but he's not giving up. This is the Tuppers of all that I used to race in F5000. This. That's winding the clock back. But just think though, this week, Ice Cold Andy, F1 Nige, Confused Emu, no points.
Surprising. Emu, mystery, where is he gone? Not helpful.
It's like not helping his championship cars, is it?
No, he's quick.
Yeah, he's very quick. Well, F1 Nige, probably still feeling the burn from having to retire from the race the way he did. Not confident he's got the pace for the season. I don't believe that for a second. Just you wait until we get to the street circuits. All of a sudden he'll be blasting the pace. But unfortunately, viewers, we are at that point where the action is stringed out a bit, so that's why we are sticking with Tuppers and XRL Lightning. But Lightning is slowly reeling in Lewis Hamilton. So if Lewis Hamilton's tyres go off slightly faster, we may see some final last lap action from these two guys. On the whole, yeah, I agree with you. Robbo's definitely been the driver today, because it's shown what can happen if you just apply yourself. Because like last week he showed what he did with that lightning start of Malaysia, and it was just unfortunate he didn't have the pace in the rain. But this week he's got the good start, got the best moves done, and then controlled the pace when it's needed to. And that's all you need to do at the end of the day when you're at the top of the division. You don't need to be the fastest driver. You need to be the most intelligent.
Yeah, he's made some really good moves today. He's made a couple of contenders for overtaking the week. He's got the moves done when he's needed to get them done. He's controlled the race when he needs to control it, and you know he's going to win by about 15 seconds to Jambo, who's done quite well in finishing second. So
XRL Lightning now is closing up on the back of Lewis Hamilton and crossing the DRS line. There goes the flap. He's got quite a lot of his curves left. So I think he's eyeing up a short burst after the hairpin and then a short burst on the final corner. But he's gone a bit too deep into the hairpin there, ruined his traction a bit. And he might have saved too much of his curves here. So it's got all four wheels off on the inside. That's not good driving, that.
He's not used it.
And indeed, he didn't deploy his curves. Has he got a curves problem?
Not a good time to have it if you have.
F1 Nige, meanwhile, is saying his all-time favourite race was last year's Hungary Grand Prix. For those of you who are watching the stream, what's everyone else's favourite races of all time?
What, is this real or XRL?
XRL.
Last week. That's the one that sticks in my head so much. Brazil last season as well.
Last season's Singapore Grand Prix was also a cracker.
I thought the division do prove to be really good, and tonight's race has been good. It's just not been on the same level as last week. So it's always going to be difficult to reach that same level. So,
well, XRL Lightning now is in a brilliant position to chase after Lewis Hamilton here. This time he's not holding the curves, he's deploying it, he's gone on the attack. Coming up to the DRS line, he's about maybe half a second adrift. Now this DRS zone's been shortened for this season after last year's was criticised. But Lewis Hamilton's weaving a bit on the track.
I thought Lightning was...
I
thought Lightning was the one who was weaving.
Looked a bit of both on my screen, but at the same time, both wheels touched, no damage. And Lightning has to filter back into fourth place. And once again, he's gone all four wheels off on the inside. Wesley51 asking on the stream, what's the penalty when someone hits you off and takes the place? If they don't yield it within a lap, I believe it's a 20-second time penalty. And that's just for the one incident. If you do it repeatedly, of course, you'll be looking at a disqualification.
Yeah. F1 speed, all you need to worry about is just getting the incidents down on paper. Me, Crazy Fisher, Red Snapper and Andy will have a look at them.
So we actually have a steward panel this season.
Well, I think what we do is the stewards will obviously write down there what the incidents, and then a couple of members within the board and the division head should have a look at each incident just to make sure, really.
Yeah. XRL Star asking the question that's been on our website all night, where's Emu? Somewhere in time.
Exactly, we don't know. Nige doesn't know. Red doesn't know. None of us know.
Well, Emu knows, but he's not telling us.
Exactly.
Well, XRL Lightning now is a little further afield behind Lewis Hamilton here. There goes the DRS flap. It's too short here. It's not going to close the gap.
Do you know all of a sudden who's getting into sight? I think that's Jambo in second place, you know.
Well, there's 5 laps to go. If these tyres hold on, that could get dicey. Lightning once again pushing the limits of the track there, but one tyre was just on the inside. And there goes the flap as well, so he's kept in sight of Lewis Hamilton. Into turn 1, he's too far away to make a move stick there. And this corner, I absolutely hate this corner.
It just keeps on going.
Apparently Herman Tilke designed it because it looks like the number 11 in Chinese, and that's a lucky number. Seriously, who cares? That's no reason to make a corner.
I don't think he makes very good tracks.
The only track he's done well is Istanbul, in my opinion.
And that's not even on the calendar.
Nope. I mean, it's like he had last year.
What are the ones that he made? He's made here. He's made Korea.
He's made South Korea. That's a crap track.
Yeah.
He's made Malaysia. That's only good when the tyres fall off or it rains.
Yeah.
He also redesigned Hockenheim into that terrible version that doesn't go through the forest. He's responsible for the bastardisation of the A1 ring, aka the Red Bull ring.
Doesn't he have some sort of affiliation with Red Bull?
He's responsible for Bahrain.
They're all rubbish.
And yes, Rusty, Korea is a crap track. It's had one good race since it's held it, and that was this year's, purely because, 1, a fire engine got sent on the track, and 2, Nico Hulkenberg decided to set his car up for one sector only. If it wasn't for those 2 things, this year's race would have been a snooze fest as well. Korea's absolutely terrible. The sooner it gets off the calendar, the better. Oh, he also designed India, and that's another shit circuit.
India's probably my favourite out of those lot, but there's not much in it. They're all averagely poor tracks.
Austin, in America, was done by a different designer. Tilke had to approve the runoff zones. Result? One of the best races of last season because the track actually is designed for racing.
So why is the guy so highly regarded then?
The only reason Herman Tilke's designed is like he's one of the few limited companies that design racetracks. There's very few specialist companies that do it.
Oh, right.
And F1 now says that India and Korea are great to drive. I don't care if they're great to drive. Manny Core was great to drive, and it always put on shit races. Just because a track's great to drive doesn't mean it's a great track in general.
I don't think Jambo's going to get caught now. He's just starting to pull away.
And Lightning also is not closing the gap anymore on Lewis Hamilton. Oh, I say it's causing a bit of controversy tonight. I'm being told it's all about taste. Well, it is, but as I'm saying, I don't think any of the races at the Tilke tracks have been that special. But he also designed Abu Dhabi as well.
Kind of in agreement with you here, Switch. I'm not a big fan of the Tilke tracks at all. I don't think they're anything special. They're not like the old tracks.
The old tracks have a lot of character, and that's one of the things that they bring them to it. They have a lot of soul, a lot of memories. I mean, Abu Dhabi, the only memory I've got for that race is when Vitaly Petrov stopped Fernando Alonso winning the title. And last year's race where everyone decided to try and take each other off the track. If it wasn't for those two, that's been a real snooze fest.
XRL Fearless doesn't seem to agree with you on the, he just sent me a message over Xbox saying that you don't know what you're talking about, basically. But no, I'm in agreement.
There's the door, don't let it hit on the way out.
I'm in agreement. I'm not a big fan of Tilka tracks. I don't think they're anything special. And I have to say, if we go back to, I don't know, Bahrain in 50 years' time, I'm not going to remember, like, a certain race from it, I don't think.
I actually, the only race I can remember from Bahrain is the race from 2010.
Where Alonso won on his first race.
It's the only race I've ever fallen asleep during. It was that bad. That was the race where they added that extended loop, of course, and the lap time went over 2 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah, that's right.
Oh dear, was that a terrible circuit. XRL Lightning looking to move at the inside of Hamilton in the closing laps here. And now they're side by side down towards the final corner. Evidently they're bored of us talking about the tracks and want us to get back to the action. Going through the final corner, and a mistake from Hamilton. He's gone wide, so there goes the flat from XRL Lightning. Down towards turn 1. But Hamilton's got such great drive at the corners.
Why is Lightning always weaving? Why is he always weaving?
I don't understand it. It's like he's trying to reenact Mansell trying to get past Senna at Monaco. There's no reason for it.
You know?
But he's got poor drive off the corner, and once again, Hamilton's just able to get that extra bit of gap.
Can he hold on?
It's going to be a quick question, this, because needless to say, these guys are very, very close. It's the final battle for the final few points, battle for the final podium position as well. So it's a very important, prestigious battle here. And Hamilton's not giving up without a fight, but XRL Lightning is so close. Through turn 10, going up the inside, taking as much of the curb as he dares get away with. Thought about having a look down to the hairpin. He almost went into the back of the diffuser. He had so much extra speed on the braking.
He's got a chance here. That's for sure. They've both got no curves. Lewis Hamilton's using up the last remaining bits to get an advantage.
There goes the flat from Lightning now. He's getting closer and closer. Bit of sparks get thrown into his visor there. He's gone to the outside and he's done it to the inside. Classic against his move. But he's got overrun, gone too far, and he's off the track. But so is Hamilton. Both guys have gone off at the hairpin, and XRL Lightning takes the position, but Hamilton clicks on the outside. What defensive driving!
No, he gave that position back. I think...
Final lap charge here. XRL Lightning taking up the inside to turn 1 and 2. Whether he gave it back or not, it was still a spectacular move to make it work. Getting very, very close there through that final first 2 corners. We are on to the final lap, and Lightning lights up the rear tyres, leaving as much of the rubber on the road. He's gone all out attack here to try and take this final podium position. Getting out of the hairpin, the gap's about half a second. Lightning's got to be careful here. He can't overdrive the car now. One mistake, it's all over as Hamilton goes wide at turn 8. That closes the gap. Lightning's got to sit there. He's got to be patient. He can't get the red mist down now.
We're chatting about this, but the back four all of a sudden has got really close.
XRL Lightning looking at the inside of the hairpin at the end of sector 2, and he's gone very, very close to the back of the DRS detection zone. Gone to the inside. He's gone early. There goes the curves. He's his chances here. This is right close. The course has been for last. Well, look at the difference there. Curves to defend from XRL Hamilton. There goes the flat from Lightning. Is the overrun enough? Goes to the outside. Can he get the car stopped? He's done this to the inside. Oh, he gets on the brakes. It's going to be tight. He's on the inside. He's just managed to make the move stick. Hamilton, though, has got one final chance to take the corner back. Into the final corner. Lightning goes onto the inside. And it's not going to be enough of the DRS. And Lightning takes that final podium position. Meanwhile, there's been contact between Toppers and LGS at the final hairpin on the final lap. And at the same time, also, the Salvers have come close together. Danny Pearce getting passed by his teammate.
Right, well, there you have it, guys.
Right.
38
Star, to
seconds.
answer your question on Monte Carlo, I don't like that either.
Right, well there it is, guys. Robbo winning the race by just 10 seconds. I thought it was going to be more in the end. Lightning and Jambo rounding off the top three. Lewis Hamilton in fourth and Thomas in fifth. LGS, Too Much Elite, and Danny Pearce rounding off the drivers who finished. Let's get the top three in.
I've sent invites to the top two, but I've just run out of time on the final guy. Well, Robbo, first win in the F1 division here. How do you feel?
Season, but yeah, my name's not Mr. Ice Cold Andy, so it's pretty different.
I said Robbo.
I did win last season as well, but you weren't obviously here.
That's all right. How did the race go for you? You seem to really enjoy it.
I don't know. I have no idea how I came first, to be honest with you. I was just surprised to be in the position I was at the end. I have no idea.
On track, we did see quite a few retirements, so particularly at Turn 1. Did you see anything happen there?
No, not really. I was on the outside, so, well, on the outside for the first bend, and then obviously on the inside for the second. But no, I didn't really see anything happen really. I just got into fourth behind my teammate, and I just didn't ever look back really.
Okay, well, as I say, very well done. You seem to do some great driving on there, so well done to you. We would be able to be speaking to Jambo, but he's unfortunately not got any. So moving on to Lightning. Last lap position, final two corners. You've got pretty guys between you and Hamilton. How did it feel on the track?
Well, if you've got a can of deodorant, I'd be pretty much happy to oblige with that, because I am sweating buckets right now. I don't think it could have been any harder to do it on the last lap as well. Was probably not how I wanted to do it. I should have done it a couple of laps before, but the lap before I went wide, and I had to try and compose myself for the next one. But to finish on the podium with all the retirements going on is a pretty nice way to try and take a few points back off of everyone.
Okay. Well, as I say, I mean, the action on track was getting a bit aggressive and dicey at times. Were there any problems for you when you were in the racing?
Not massive problems. A couple of weaving here and there, and there was a couple of cars lagging, only like two, I think, but I think a lot of people had more issues with that than I did. I thought it was quite easy to see, but obviously the only problem was the timing screen. It kept telling me I was 6 tenths behind people when I weren't.
When I passed you,
No, you're fine. I literally just missed you. I looked at my tyre and you just missed me. It's fine.
Alright.
Some people weren't so lucky with that though.
Okay, well, big congratulations to both of you again, especially to you, Robbo, for that excellent race victory. Well done. Well, and also big congratulations and thank you to all you people who stayed watching us tonight. I'm Pete Marker. I've been joined in the box by Dan Fisk. Now, tomorrow night we've got the GP2 race starting at 8 p.m. here on Channel 1, and we've also got the GP3 on the Tuesday night, same channel, Channel 1. We've got the F4 and F5000 dual cast on channels 1 and 2 on the Wednesday night, and then we have the dual cast of the 80s and 90s classic racing leagues on the Thursday night. We'll be back here. In the meantime, we're all going to go and have a nice lie down. Thank you all very much, and good night.